everybody, Jason Bermas here for WeAreChange.org, and there was a huge win for humanity yesterday as Monsanto was forced to pay up to the tune of $289 million via a civil suit based on Roundup and especially glyphosate, which a jury did find causes cancer. And the winner of this case was a man named Dewayne Lee Johnson. And unfortunately, Mr. Johnson looks like he only has weeks to live. So we're going to get into all aspects of that in just a moment. But first, I want to invite everybody to check out our t-shirt shop. You know, the mainstream media has not been following this story, but of course We Are Change has, and we need your support. So why not do it in style by getting a very cool We Are Change t-shirt and helping independent media. Let's begin in July, when the floodgates were open, if you will, when a judge ruled that hundreds of lawsuits could go forward against Monsanto, mostly based on Roundup and glyphosate, which independent studies started showing was more than likely carcinogenous, which of course means it causes cancer.
This is the first time that the world is going to see documents showing that Monsanto, for at least the last 20 years, has known that Roundup and Ranger Pro can cause cancer and specifically cause non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Johnson became the first to sue after the International Agency for Cancer Research determined in 2015 the key ingredient, glyphosate, is probably carcinogenic to humans.
Now, all of this came on the heels of Bayer and Monsanto announcing a $66 billion merger where Monsanto would essentially be absorbed and the company's name would no longer exist. And by the way, is that such a bad idea for that company when it is now synonymous with poisoning people not only through GMO seeds, but through products like Roundup?
Now to the mega merger that's taking Wall Street by storm. And what is the biggest takeover announced so far this year? Germany's Bayer, as we told you, finally clinching that deal for rival Monsanto. It's valued at a stunning $66 billion.
Well, I think at the end of the day, it's about opportunity. It's a great deal for our share owners. It's a 40+% premium. It's a 18 times multiple. So it's great for our share owners.
Now, Dewayne Lee Johnson had this to say after the verdict was reached. It's taken a lot of prayer. I've taken energy from a lot of people. I'm glad to be here to help. Hopefully this thing will start to get the attention it needs. This case is way bigger than me. And it really is, because this could be the beginning of accountability with large corporations.
I'm glad to be here to help with this situation after I learned about Roundup and glyphosate and everything. I'm glad to be here to be able to help, but the cause is way bigger than me. So hopefully this thing will start to get the attention that it needs to get right so folks can make a good choice.
Monsanto has intimidated and sued so many independent farmers out there.
A multi-billion-dollar, globally operating biotech agriculture giant takes on a 76-year-old American farmer based in Indiana. Vernon Bowman's entire life is his 65 acres of land, run with machinery he jokingly refers to as junk. Monsanto, the corporation behind dozens of lawsuits involving farmers all over the world, creates and sells at 3 times the price of regular crops genetically modified soybeans.
They have literally put out products that caused this man in his 40s to develop lesions all over his body, according to a jury, via non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Jurors in Lee revisited some difficult pictures today. Lee's Hodgkin's lymphoma caused him to develop lesions over 80% of his body. Lee talks about how the lesions tore into his self-esteem, embarrassed his children, and kept him from going out in public.
Now, unfortunately, of course, Mr. Johnson and his family are not out of the woods yet because Monsanto is appealing. They are taking the position, of course, that the science is in, and it's been proven by over 800 studies that Roundup does not cause cancer.
Verdict today It doesn't change the overwhelming scientific evidence and the 40 years of safe use of glyphosate around the world. It is the most widely used herbicide in the world. It's the most widely studied herbicide in the world.
Now, Dewayne Lee Johnson, although he is in dire condition, is looking towards a bone marrow transplant. And in doing so, we hope that this appeals process goes by extremely quickly, as we know Monsanto will try to draw this out for as long as possible, because as soon as they lose the appeal, can you imagine the amount of lawsuits that will be brought against them? Now, Ken Cook, the president of the Environmental Working Group, said this was a victory for all workers. Monsanto made Roundup the OxyContin of pesticides, and now the addiction and damage they caused have come home to roost. This won't cure Dewayne Lee Johnson's cancer, but it will send a strong message to a renegade company. And I believe that to be true. Again, these people need to be held accountable, because no matter how much money Monsanto pays out, none of the people that made the decision to put this product out there, to not label it with a could cause cancer warning, to lie to the public and say it was safe, will never serve time in prison. And folks, that system needs to change. As always, if you like this video, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Follow me on Twitter @JasonBermas, and be the change you want to see in the world.